All right, who is the pound for pound number one in mixed martial arts? That is the big story. That's the big topic, and it's the big title. Everybody wants to be a champion in a weight class, potentially a champion in two weight classes, and of course, to be the pound for pound number one fighter in any sport, but of course, mixed martial arts, the greatest combat sport that the world has ever seen. Come on, what a title that is to be the owner of. Now, recently, we had UFC 284, and that was an incredible fight. In the main event, Alexander Volkanovski going up against Islam Makhachev, the number one pound for pound against the number two. You don't see that, okay? Now, after that, Volkanovski lost. Islam won the fight. It was 3-2. A lot of people thought Volkanovski won. It was a sensational fight, and I'm a huge fan of Volkanovski. In fact, I couldn't be a bigger fan. He's like one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, just so down to earth and normal. But I think he lost that fight. I think it was incredibly close, and I think he did himself so proud, but he probably lost. I haven't watched the fight back, but still, on the night, I gave it to Islam in a very close, sensational, one of the most technical, amazing, brilliant fights that you're ever likely to see. However, Volkanovski lost. Islam Makhachev won. But apparently that didn't change anything. Okay, so who is the pound for pound number one? Well, according to that, it's still like Alexander Volkanovski. I thought on the night, and of course, I'm in the octagon, I'm speaking to Islam Makhachev. He just won the fight. So by logic, you would think that if Islam won the fight, that makes him pound for pound number one. So I said, you're probably now pound for pound number one. I got to stop saying pound for pound because it's annoying me, probably annoying you. But you would think to beat the man, to become the man, you have to beat the man. And he beat the man, so he should become the man. I'm saying a lot of shit here. But you would think that he becomes the number one guy. But he didn't. And a lot of rankings still have Alexander Volkanovski as the pound for pound number one. So that's sensational. And I understand it because he is the smaller guy. He went up to Islam's weight class to 155. Islam could not come down to 145. He couldn't do that. And if he did do that, he would not perform. There is just no way. And maybe even if he came down to 150, they had a catchweight fight, he probably wouldn't perform there. I mean, let's be honest, he almost didn't make weight at UFC 284. Making 155 is very hard for Islam Makhachev. He's a far bigger guy than Volkanovski. So making 150, probably off the table. Certainly 145, off the table. And certainly to compete and to be effective after such a brutal weight cut, that's just not going to happen. So Volkanovski, when it comes to them two, yeah, I was wrong in the octagon when I said that. Alexander Volkanovski is still, against Islam, probably pound for pound a better fighter. What do you think to that? Is that controversial? Am I going to get flamed? Am I going to get all of his fans coming after me? More than likely. But guess what? Guess what? You're probably going to think, I don't care. I don't care. But that's not what I'm going to say. I don't think Alexander Volkanovski is the pound for pound number one on the planet. That title belongs to a man that returns next week to the octagon. And yes, of course, I'm talking about Jon Jones. Okay, he's been out of action for a while, 3 years away from the octagon. We know this, okay? But that's the guy. That's the guy who's run roughshod over the light heavyweight division for years, for generations, taking out champion after champion. Right? Generations of champions and contenders. It is unbelievable what he did. And it's even more unbelievable when you remember the fact that a lot of the time, apparently, he wasn't even training. When he fought Alexander Gustafsson the first time and had that incredible performance, apparently he was up to doing what Jon Jones likes to do. You know, hanging out, partying, having a good bloody time. You know, strip clubs, cocaine, all the rest of it. Apparently, I don't know. I wasn't there. These are the rumors, but still, that's what we hear, okay? And he still went out there and beat him. And by the way, what a fight that was against Gustafsson. So, listen, we're splitting hairs here, right? Because they're all good. Whether you're pound for pound number 1, 2, or 3, it doesn't matter. There's not an insult. It's a subjective thing. It is an opinion, and we're all entitled to them. However, Jon Jones, when you look at what he's done, when you look at the people he's beaten, when you look at the way that he's beat them, at their own game a lot of the time, you can't deny the man. And a lot of people want to do that. Now, we know he's not popular, and we know he's had the picograms, the performance-enhancing drugs, the failed tests, whatever you want to call them. That's a huge asterisk, okay? But still, I'd say he's the pound for pound number one. Now, what's he going to look like when he comes back? We know this. Everyone said it. This is nothing new. Will he be the same fighter? Has he got older? Has he calmed down? Will his body perform well, optimum level at heavyweight with all that extra muscle mass? Will he slow down? Will he be strong enough against the heavyweights? These are all questions that are going to be answered pretty soon. In a couple of weeks, we're going to see that, and I'm very, very excited for it. But until that happens, when you look at the body of work, the people that he's beaten, legend after legend, champion after champion, the number one guy, pound for pound, has got to be Johnny Bones Jones. And on top of that, we're not only talking the pound for pound number one, we're not only talking the guy that had a ridiculous amount of title defenses, we're also talking about probably the GOAT, the greatest of all time. And I know, once again, Islam fans, Khabib fans are going to come after me. George St. Pierre fans are. Anderson Silva's fans are. But I'm sorry. Anderson Silva, Anderson Silva's definitely up there. Definitely up there. He's definitely up there, But still, Jon Jones, the resume, the people that he's beaten, can't deny it. Now, when you look at Alexander Volkanovski, let's compare the resumes, because he's officially there is no official. This is all people's opinions. But he's kind of like the number one guy in the rankings right now. Yes, the 3 fights against Max Holloway. The third one was incredible. Korean Zombie, Brian Ortega. These are sensational fighters and great wins. Beat people like Jose Aldo when he was on the come up as well. Let's not forget that. That was a sensational victory. Okay? But even still, against Jon Jones, and I'm not knocking Volk. No way am I knocking Volk. I love the guy. He's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. And fuck me, that guy can fight. That guy can fight, and he's got no weak areas. The pace of that fight at UFC 284 was just ridiculous, And Jon Jones's last few fights, granted, against Thiago Santos, Dominic Reyes, and Anthony Smith, they weren't the best performances. So maybe that's why he's dropped down. And maybe that's why people have forgotten. And maybe that's why Jon Jones is actually under a lot of pressure right now. Because it's the highly anticipated return. The king is back. The return of the GOAT. The pound for pound number one has returned. Whatever moniker, label, however you want to advertise this fight, they all fit, they all work, and they're all warranted. But that puts a tremendous amount of pressure on Jon Jones, right? After all the contract negotiations, after all the talk, he's coming back, he's going up a weight class, and he's going up against Ciryl Gane. That's not an easy fight. Listen, wrestling-wise, he's got a massive advantage. But will he be able to take Ciryl Gane down? We don't know. And that, by the way, that is another video. That's not what we're talking about here right now. So what do you think? Okay? Alexander Volkanovski, Islam Makhachev, Jon Jones. Now, there's others. Robert Whittaker, I believe, deserves to be in there. Even Israel Adesanya, even though he lost against Pereira, I still have Izzy higher than Pereira, believe it or not. But what do you think? Am I crazy? Am I out of my mind? Who, right now, in your opinion, is the pound for pound number one fighter in the sport of mixed martial arts, in the UFC, out of all fighters? Because I tell you what, we'll end on this. If you're the pound for pound number one in mixed martial arts, you're going to wipe the floor with any boxer. You are the pound for pound greatest fighter walking the face of planet Earth. Wow. What a title that is. Anyway, hope you're well. Haven't been around for a while. I'm in Australia still, seeing family, flying home tomorrow. The videos are coming back with a bang, so keep an eye out for them. And if you haven't subscribed and rang the bell, then what are you doing with your life? Talk to you soon. Take care. Thanks for watching.